Hey everyone, how's it going? So today I'm here with another Princess Connect redive video, and today I'm going to be talking about PvP. And now this is going to be a PvP guide. There will be timestamps in the videos for the sections I talk about. Now I'm not going to try to make this video as super long as I did my last video. My PvE video was around 16 minutes. I'm going to try to make it a little shorter. I think I'm going to make the matches take up most of the time. So let's get right into it, and let's talk about Battle Arena and how you're able to rank up super fast and what kind of teams to run, especially if you're getting stonewalled and destroyed by enemies. Alright, and as you guys can see, I am currently ranked 397 in my division here. Now, obviously, this is a extremely high rank, so most players, I think this is a very possible rank to achieve. Definitely under top 500. If you can get over top 500 in your division, you're definitely doing really, really good in the game, and you're doing Battle Arena correctly. So now I want to go ahead and take a look here at the teams that we're going to be fighting against. So as you can see, you really don't want to be looking at the party power too much, but this does matter in some certain scenarios, especially when your characters are extremely underleveled. Like, for example, this guy has level 68 characters, but all of his characters are 2-stars, so the party power is going to be on the lower level, but it doesn't really matter considering his characters are level 68, so their attacks are going to be hitting way harder, usually. So when you're picking a team to fight, you want to be picking a team that fits what your team aims to defeat. So for most people, you're going to be having a extremely physical build, so I'm going to bring just a random physical team. Here we go. So this is the physical team that I randomly just selected. So as we can see, you're going to want to build around the opponent's party. You're not going to want to just throw all your 3-stars together, because I'm telling you right now, a team like this would not work out at all. You would get absolutely cream pied. You would get absolutely destroyed, and you would stand 0% chance against a team like this. So what I mean by that is it also relates back to my other video, kind of the same thing with the PvE, where you want to go for a 2-2-1 comp, or in some certain scenarios you could go for a 1-3 comp, as in 1 tank, 1 main tank. So for example, let's say you want your main tank to be Kuka here, and then you can go for 3 DPS. Let's just pick random 3 DPS at random, go Suzuna, and then let me grab just a random one down here. Let's just go ahead and grab our girl Shizuru here for physical attack damage reduction, and then you're going to finish it off with the support. So for example, you can bring Yui. Now I think this team against that team would do pretty decently. If anything, there is a few things I would switch up here personally to shape it around the team a little bit better. So we're going to look at who the majority in the party is. If the majority is going to be your physical attackers, then I would highly recommend bringing a physical attacker defense, a really high physical defender, aka Miyako, who's going to be immune, also healing herself, also having extremely high physical defense with over 128 at level 55, and I think she's going to nullify literally the entire team's DPS just by herself. Now we're running low on time, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up with the team that I would select. So this is the team that I would personally select. As I said, all of the frontline characters are going to be physical damage, and then Yui is a healer. Even though she is magic, we're not going to have to worry about her damage per se, because she is not doing damage. She's going to be healing for the most part. So as I said, here's my 1 tank, which is going to be Miyako. Going to cut out the physical attacks. They're going to have our 3 DPS here. We're going to go Makoto just because she is high stars, high leveled, going to be hitting extremely hard. We also have Vegeta here for the extremely fast Union Burst. Then we have Ana for extremely high magical damage and Union Burst, and then we finish it off with Maho for just being an extremely powerful blinder. So let's hop into it and let's see how well we do against this team right here. Now as we can see, it starts off, and it's going to be the battle for whoever gets the first kill usually ends up winning the battle. So their Nozumi goes down, and we managed to get the heal off with Miyako, and we managed to kill Makoto before our tank goes down. Now our tank's obviously going to go down right here. Oh, actually, no, she's still alive. But this is an easy wipe. It's literally not even close. Well, it is pretty close because Saren did a lot of damage. But Yui's not going to stand a chance against Vegeta here. So this is going to be an easy dub for us here. There we go. And they're down. Now, Saren did a lot of damage there to our girl Ana there. But Ana doesn't have the best physical defense. But, you know, we still ended up winning, and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how many characters die. You literally could go down to just Maho here and win by barely scraping by, and that's perfectly fine. Obviously, you want to win with at least like 3 characters up to know that you completely destroyed them and you completely outmatched them in terms of their characters and you built around them. But there we still had 2 characters remaining, so I'd say I'd call that a dub. So also, one thing to do is if you do end up losing, or even if you end up winning, always make sure to check the damage report and make sure that the characters that you wanted to be doing damage here were doing the damage that they require, aka you want the DPS to be in the higher numbers and you want your tanks and your support to be in the lower numbers. And as we can see, this checks out perfect, with each DPS being over 12,000 damage, and then of course our girl Jita at the top with over double of what Makoto put out, with over 24,000 damage, with just her being the last one remaining, of course. Now, if we take a look at the opponent's one, we can see here that we absolutely rolled. We took out Makoto before she was able to do any damage at all. She literally barely did 2,000 damage, and Yubi did over 13,000, that being because she was the last stand unit, and she was just kind of firing it away at our Jita as she was trying to finish her. And that's the only reason why her numbers are so high here. But if not, then they only would have had 2 characters that even had minuscule damage, which is really, really, really good. So make sure when you guys finish a battle arena match, you take a look at the damage report and see, and make sure that your characters are doing the damage they needed, and see, okay, well, maybe this team isn't the best matchup against this kind of team, and so on and so forth. And it's going to help you adapt and improve, and basically, you're going to be climbing the ranks in no time. And there we go. Now I'm currently ranked 354, so that's pretty nice. And we can see, literally completing one match gives you like around 300 to 400 gems when you start to get into like top 1,000. It's crazy. You get a lot of jewels from this, so I highly, highly recommend for people to play Battle Arena, even if you don't really like the PvP part of it. If you have the characters and you have the time and you are, you're bored and you want something to do rather than just play through the story and through the dungeon each day, this is always here, and I love this mode a lot. So here we have a magical team, which is going to be Io and Hatsune, who are going to be the 2 insanely broken magical characters on this team. Now, Magic is in an extremely good spot, because if you guys don't know, Magic has the ability not to miss. Physical attacks can miss, causing you to do literally 0 damage, or the enemy team can miss with their physical attack doing 0 damage as well. So it all is RNG on that. But magical characters, they cannot miss their Union Burst or their attacks at all. Now, if we take a look at this team, now Io is probably the best Battle Arena unit in the game, I think. She steals your TP, she delays your Union Burst, and her Union Burst makes you fight each other. And Hatsune allows her team to punish your physical attackers, and Hatsune paired with Io is an absolutely broken combo. Now, unfortunately, I do not have either 2 of these characters, but if I did, I would recommend running that over this team composition right here. This team is meant for fighting the kind of, these teams down here, the ones that are going to be super physical heavy up front and personal, that you can just throw one tank to just basically eat all the damage and then cut them up to shreds with Makoto and Jita, and then Ana, of course, doing her magical damage. So for this kind of team, I'm going to show you that I probably here would go ahead and drop a physical character like Makoto, and instead I would opt for another tank as Kuka, who is going to be having extremely high magical defense, nullifying magical defense, recovering her HP, having high physical defense, being a taunter as well. I think this would work decently here, but this character, this opponent has extremely good characters when it comes to Nezumi and Miyako on a team, and Yukari. This team is extremely defensive, so if I were you guys, and if you saw this team, I don't think I would recommend going to fight this team, unless you have literally, like, overpowered attackers, and you have probably the exact same team. I would not in, like, 10 years recommend fighting this team over that other team that I just showed you, just because this entire team is extremely defensive, and they are basically almost an unpenetrable wall, because, as I said, they're not going to have really any healing, I think, but they are going to be doing so much defense, stacking with the immunity. You're going to have Nezumi, who's going to be taunting. You're going to have Yukari, who's going to be giving everyone TP recovery, HP recovery, getting barriers. You're going to have Io, who's going to steal your TP, and then you have Hatsune, who's going to punish physical attackers. So it's like, this team, if you see this team in PvP, I do not recommend fighting this opponent at all. Especially if your team is not built around having extremely good magical attackers, then definitely skip past these kind of teams. These teams are way too strong right now in the current meta for you to be going up against, and the only reason that I would say you would want to challenge them is if you literally have the exact same team as them. That's when I would say you challenge them. Maybe you could drop this Yukari here, and you could bring in Jita instead, and your team would probably hit harder and do more damage because, you know, Yukari isn't a DPS. She is. However, there is no DPSs on this team, so basically, the team composition that this guy is trying to run here is he's just trying to make his defense be so unimpenetrable that his team ends up killing you before your DPS can even do anything. So which is why, you know, especially if you're not really having the best of DPS in some areas, I do not recommend going against this team at all. Now, as I said, this is a team that you want to be fighting, considering most players are going to be having physical attackers. Magical attackers are kind of hard to get, but as I said, if you end up getting those magical attackers like Io and Hatsune, then I would recommend, you know, putting them on your defensive squad also to help your defense to also get free arena coins as well. And I'm going to be using the exact same team as I used before in our first fight. Now, as we notice, this guy does not have a front tank, and Makoto is going to be his front tank, which is an absolutely horrible mistake, as this Makoto goes down almost instantly. We're going to be able to get the heal off with Miyako, and both of his DPSs are down. Everyone's dying. Rino's going to get her strong attack off, but it won't matter because this is now over. Now, Rino did a lot of damage, but the 3 DPS did enough damage to be able to cut through that line. They didn't really have, you know, a really heavy tank there. As we notice, our damages are also extremely good, and the only character that literally did a decent amount of damage was their Reno, doing 28,000 because Reno is absolutely crazy. But as we can see, we completely shut down their front line, and this guy, definitely the reason why he died so quickly is because he did not have a frontline tank. So you guys want to make sure you take advantage of these people that don't have frontline tanks, because you will be able to cut through their frontline like butter, smooth butter on toast. So that's what I would recommend going for against these kind of teams, and that's how you're able to climb, and that's how I've been climbing in PvP Arena. So for the final match of this video, I found a kind of team that, you know, this looks like a pretty free-to-play team with Nezumi and Pecorine on the front line. You're going to have Exjino with your DPS, and then you're going to have Kokoro, which you're going to apply the physical attack buff up to Pecorine, Exjino, and Nezumi, who's going to be hitting harder and faster, and then you have a healer with Chica in the back. So this team right here, I think this is probably the easiest team we're going to be going against in this video. Pecorine on the front line, she is good. But when, obviously, she gets her unique equip and all that stuff later down in the future, she will be extremely good. But for now, she's kind of like, you know, I would probably recommend dropping Pecorine and picking up another DPS to do more sustained damage, like a magical DPS like Ana, I think would fit this team much better, or maybe a Makoto or a Jita, instead of just having one DPS. And I think this is the reason why we're going to probably crush this team, even though they are having double supports in the back, which is not a bad idea at all. Exjino only being the only really main damager is going to definitely hurt this team, especially since they are not rank 7. So we're going to hop into this final match of the video and see how well this exact team that I've been using all video does against this party. So we're going to hop in, and we're just going to notice that their Pecorine is going to dow almost instantly. Pecorine goes to ability us, but it does nothing because we are immune. And then Pecorine is dead. Now, obviously, she is getting healed and stuff. She's going to taunt here, which is perfectly fine. We're going to get the heal off with Miyako. Miyako is going to live to fight another day, and then this is going to drop like nothing. And that is going to be GG, my friend. Now, we had every character still alive. And that team right there is a team that I would not recommend putting. As you can see, their main damage dealer was actually Chica. So their Chica did twice as much damage as their Exjino did, because their Exjino died that fast, because Miyako completely shut down her damage, which is why I said you probably want to go for an Ana on this team, who's going to be doing magical damage instead. And so as we can see, if you guys definitely see a team like this, make sure you go against it, because this team sucks really bad. No offense to whoever this guy is. I'm sorry. But, you know, this isn't really the best PvP team that I definitely went against. And as we can see, we completely and utterly destroyed this team. And I think that is going to do it for today's video. So hopefully this PvP video helps some of you guys climb to the higher ranks, maybe top 1,000 for some people out there. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and peace out.